a really brief bragging slide. We think we've earned these bragging rights. So #1 in Australia and top 15 in the world. This is a ranking that our faculty consistently has. So we're very, very proud of it, and we always like to show it off at the start of our presentations, but I won't bore you with that. I think my presentation's going to be a little bit annoying and start to jump ahead a bit, but we'll see how we go with that. If I need to, I'll just skip back from each slide. The Master of Education is a degree designed for people wanting to develop their professional expertise and advance their careers in education. This is not a degree for people that are looking for their first degree in education to become a teacher. So if you're wanting to become a teacher, this is not the right course for you. The right course for wanting to become a teacher in Australia is the Master of Teaching. Now, we do actually have a presentation for the Master of Teaching scheduled for this Thursday. So if you're wanting to hear more information about the Master of Teaching, then please hop back onto the virtual fair website and have a look at the details for that presentation. But that will be this Thursday from 6 till 7 p.m. So I'd love to see you again there. It'll be myself probably and another colleague of mine. But for the moment, we'll be talking about Master of Education. So this is a really interesting course because it's actually got a wide range of career outcomes, I suppose, because what it's about is figuring out what your professional development goals are and what you're looking to achieve from the course. I'll show you the specialisations in a moment, which might help crystallise that a little bit, but just wanted to have this slide in there first with a bit of more basic information about when you can do the course and what the fees are and those sorts of things. So obviously we're saying there that on-campus and off-campus study options are available. At the moment, we're teaching everything online at Monash, but I think, or I hope that we'll be moving to be able to offer on-campus options again soon, obviously pending decisions by the university and also by the Victorian and Australian governments, depending on health advice. But that is a lovely picture of our beautiful building, which actually probably looks a fair bit like that at the moment, quite empty. But we are normally situated for this course at our lovely learning and teaching building at the Clayton campus in Melbourne. But of course, we have a wonderful virtual environment for you at the moment and also moving forward as well. And in the past, we've always offered off-campus study or online study for this course as well. So you know you're in good hands because we're quite experienced at delivering online programs. So the specialisations available for the Master of Education, there is one there called General Education Studies. This one doesn't show up as General Education Studies on your transcript. Basically, it will just say Master of Education. General Education Studies is where you can basically say, I've got an interest in a broad range of areas and I just want to study the units that I want to study. So you look at the course structure and you take a look at the various units that are available within each part and you choose the ones that you want. So you're not specialising in a particular area, you can choose from all these different areas that you've got options for. For the other specialisations, it's a bit more specific. There are specific units that you have choices for, and if you choose from those units, then you'll be awarded the Master of Education in that particular specialisation when you graduate. So adult learning, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. This is focusing on not so much looking at schools, but adult learning settings. So that could be community learning settings, that could be, it could be workplace learning settings, could be all sorts of different things that are not related to school and school-aged people. Applied behaviour analysis is a specialisation. It's quite a niche area. This is an area that is a science, actually, closely related to psychology, that's used for working with children that are having difficulties participating in their education and even in their, I guess, their social life or their life outside of school. And it's about recognising and designing interventions to assist children and older people as well, but usually children, to help adapt and allow them to participate more easily within the classroom setting in school. Digital learning, pretty self-explanatory, but this is definitely in an educational context. So you're looking at designing programs with digital learning in mind, and you're also looking at the tools that you might use within a classroom that are more in the digital space. We have some really amazing academic staff in the digital learning area that are very experienced in how to deliver programs at a university level, but also at a school level as well. One of our leading academics in this area is a former high school teacher and principal himself. So a lot of experience in that area, and obviously that's translating through to the current situation where we're delivering things online for our students, as well as helping our students learn how to do that for their students. Early childhood education. Now, just wanted to reiterate again that this is not what we call an initial teaching degree. So if you study the Master of Education in Early Childhood Education, this does not allow you to register with a CEQA or the VIT to be an early childhood educator. If you want to do that, you do need to do the Master of Teaching with your specialisation in early childhood or early years. Early childhood education is more focusing on people that are looking to upskill or expand their areas of knowledge within early childhood education. Maybe you're looking to go into a management or policy role in this area. Speaking of policy, educational leadership and policy is an option in this program. However, if you are interested in that area, I would also encourage you to look at another program we have, which is the new Master of Educational Leadership, which is a fantastic program that's going really, really well in its first semester currently, but a fantastic group of academic staff members delivering this course. Some really good feedback from that course already. You can do that as a specialisation in the Master of Education. Just up to you. Have a look at the different units available and which one might suit you more. Expert teaching practice. This one's a really interesting one because it actually has quite a range of elective units available. So you can look at specialising by choosing a couple of different units in different areas that you might be interested in. So maybe if you're interested particularly in STEM education, you might want to look at our unit that's looking particularly at delivering science education, and maybe you want to combine that with studying the maths education unit that we offer. There's a whole range of units available within that area. General education studies I've already mentioned, and we also have the inclusive and special education specialisation. This one is also a bit of a unique one because we do also have another new course in the faculty called the Master of Inclusive Education. The difference between these two courses is the Master of Inclusive Education is specifically designed for teachers that are registered in Australia and have a minimum of 2 years experience. And so it's a 1-year course, default duration, and you'll be within that specific cohort and will be delivering content that's designed specifically for you to be able to enhance the skills that you already have as teachers. The inclusive and special education specialisation within the Master of Education is a little bit different because we don't have that requirement of being a registered teacher in Australia. So if that particular requirement doesn't apply to you, then you can definitely look at this Master of Education if you're wanting to learn more about how to design inclusive environments for schools or for different educational settings. So that's a bit of a lightning overview of the specialisations. Also, just really quickly want to go over the entry requirements before we get to some questions. So the great thing about the Master of Education is that it is available to people from all different levels and experience in terms of their former studies in university. So if you don't have any experience in education or teaching at all, you can still do this course. You're looking at the 2-year entry points. So the 3 different entry points here. We have the 2-year, 1.5 and 1 year. 2 years is for someone with a degree in any field don't have to have a background or any experience in education whatsoever. And as a part of that, you'll complete compulsory orientation units designed to orientate you into the field of education and educational research and how to use research and those sorts of things. I've just got a question that's popped up from Alicia. Thanks, Alicia. An example of what a related field might be. Generally, any degree that's being delivered by a faculty of education or a school of education in a university, we would consider to be related. And anything outside of that, so if it's not an education degree or a teaching degree, then usually we'd look at those on a case-by-case basis. So what we would do in this situation is take a look at the entry requirements definitely and get a sense of what you might fit into in terms of the different entry points. But when you apply, our admissions team will do a detailed assessment, and they'll let you know when they hopefully offer you which entry point will be available to you. And Alison's just asked, does your education degree need to be completed in the last 10 years? No, we don't have any recency requirements for the Master of Education, so you can have completed that degree at any point. We just obviously need all of the relevant documents and transcripts to make sure that you're providing all of the evidence of your previously completed studies. Good questions. So you'll see in the bottom left corner, there's a mention of IELTS. IELTS is an English language test. This is a standard test that we use as a bit of a benchmark for English language proficiency at Monash and at most other Australian universities. This is not something that you have to worry about if you have completed your university studies in Australia, or indeed all of your studies in Australia. This is really only something if you're an international student and maybe you've done your degree or you've been living overseas for a significant period of time. So in those sorts of cases, we would ask for evidence of English language proficiency. And one of the ways we can meet that is by doing an IELTS test. So, but I guess the message here is if you're an Australian domestic student and you've completed all of your studies in Australia in English, you don't need to worry about that English language requirement at all. Just need to worry about the academic side of things. So, just very quickly, how to apply. Take a look at the entry requirements and pop onto our online portal. It's pretty simple. You really just need to be uploading scanned copies of documents for us and we'll be able to take a look at that. Sometimes we do request for certified copies of original documents later on when we're doing our auditing process. But for the actual application itself, you don't need to provide originals or certified copies or anything like that. We just need clear copies of the document in digital form. Applications for this course do close for semester 2 on the 26th of June. So you've still got a few weeks to hang on there and to get all your things sorted out and together. But you're welcome to submit an application for this course anytime up until that point. Once applications close for semester 2, there'll be a bit of a break where the portal won't be active for this course for I think a month or so. And then applications will reopen for semester 1 for next year.